Hello students. Today we will discuss about the topic steering system. So first of all, let us know what is a steering system. So steering system is a system that converts the rotation of the steering wheel into swirling movement of the road wheels in such a way that the steering wheel rim turns a long way to move the road wheels a short way. So if this is a steering wheel, okay, so which is present in the car, okay, so here the driver is seated and this steering wheel is linked to the wheels of the vehicle. Okay, so when you rotate this steering wheel in a long way, that is, you will rotate it for a longer distance, then this wheel will move in a long way and it will help the road wheels, that is, these wheels of the vehicle, to rotate a short way. So, in this way, while taking turns, this steering wheel will help the wheels of the vehicle to turn a short way, okay, by turning this steering wheel in a long way. So steering system converts the rotation of the steering wheel into swiveling movement of the road wheels in such a way that the steering wheel rim turns a long way to move the road wheels a short way. Okay, so here you can see this is the steering wheel, okay, and this is connected to the wheels, okay, of the vehicle. Okay, so you can see there are so many different parts of this steering system. Now, types of steering system. So types of steering system. So there are usually two types of steering systems. They are, the first one is the hydraulic steering system and the next one is the electrical or electronic steering system. So here, as the name indicates, this steering system uses hydraulic power to multiply the force which is applied on the steering wheel inputs to the vehicle's steered, that is usually the front road wheel. So uses hydraulic forces. Here again uses electricity or electric power for the steering, that is what is the steering system we have already discussed. So this hydraulic system uses hydraulic forces to multiply the force which is applied on the steering system. Okay, then what are the different parts of the steering system? So parts of steering system. Okay, so it has a steering wheel, then there is a steering column, then there is a steering box, then drop arm, it is also called as pitman, then there is a drag link ball joint, there is a link rod, it is also called as drag link. Okay, then there is track rod end joint, then there is track rod arm, then there is a kingpin. So all those we can see in the figure here. So there is a kingpin here. Okay, then there are ball joints, ball joints, then there is a steering arm, then there is axial beam which is here. Okay, and there is a stub axle, and there is a track rod here. So these are the parts of the steering system. Now we will see how these components work. First of all, the steering wheel. What is the function of these components? So steering wheel is nothing but a control wheel which is steered to control the movement of the vehicle. So the vehicle is steered by the driver to control the movement. So it will also contain the traffic indicator switch, then the light switch, then the wiper switch. So this steering wheel is also called as driving wheel or hand wheel. So steering wheels are used in most modern land vehicles, including all mass production automobiles as well as buses, light and heavy trucks and tractors also. So steering wheel is, so it is a control wheel to steer a vehicle by the driver. So it contains traffic indicators, then light switch, then wiper switch, etc. Then the next component or next part is the steering column. So we are going to discuss the important parts of the steering system. So this is called as steering column or steering shaft. So this shaft is fitted inside the hollow steering column. Okay, when the steering wheel is turned, then the steering shaft will also be rotated. So due to this, the motion is transmitted to the steering box. So this steering column is, so it is fitted inside a hollow steering column, that is the shaft is fitted in the hollow steering column. When the steering wheel is turned, the shaft will be rotated. So due to this, motion is transmitted to the steering box. Then the next important component is the steering gear. So here, so a pitman's arm is splined to the steering gear rocker arm at one end, and the other end is connected to the drag link by a ball joint. So the steering gearbox will contain the gears that transmit the driver's steering input to the steering link that will turn the wheels, and it multiplies the driver's steering changes so that the front wheels move more than the steering wheel. So a pitman's arm, okay, which is shown in the figure over here. So here there is a pitman arm or the drop arm. This is containing a gearbox. Okay. So this gearbox is connected to the drag link by a ball joint. So what happens when the steering gearbox, this pitman's arm, that is this steering box, that is the gearbox, it consists of gears which will transmit the driver's steering inputs to the steering links that will turn the wheels. So this box contains gears which will transmit the steering motion of the driver to the wheels, okay, through the linkages. Okay, we will study these links in detail. So consists of gears that transmit the driver's steering inputs to the steering linkages that turn the wheels and it multiplies the driver's steering system, steering changes. Okay, so this is about the steering gearbox. The next one is the drop arm or pitman arm. So when the steering wheel is turned right or left, the pitman transmits the motion it receives from the steering gearbox to the tie rod. So a pitman arm is used to correct the steering wheel when vehicle has a suspension lift. So this drop pitman arm is used to transmit motion which it is receiving from the gearbox to the tie rod. So pitman arm transmits the motion it receives from the steering gearbox to the tie rod. Okay, the next one is the ball joints. So ball joints are nothing but spherical bearings that will connect the control arms to the steering knuckles. So these are spherical bearings that connect the control arms to the steering knuckles. The next component is the drag link. So the drag link is connection between the pitman arm to the steering arm, or it connects the drag link to the tie rod assembly. So this drag link will convert the sweeping arc of the steering arm to linear motion in the plane of other steering links. So drag link is converting the sweeping arc of the steering arm, that is the sweeping motion is converted into linear motion by this drag link when it has to transfer this motion to the other steering links. So it converts the sweeping arc of the steering arm to linear motion in the plane of other steering links. Okay. Then the next one is the steering arm. So steering arm is an arm that is for transmitting the turning force of the steering gear to the drag link, especially of an automotive vehicle. The basic function of steering system is to allow the driver to safely and precisely steer the vehicle. So the steering system also provides a way to reduce the driver's effect by making the act of steering the vehicle easier. So the steering arm, it is an arm for transmitting the turning force from the steering gear to the drag link. So is an arm for transmitting. So steering system not only helps to steer the vehicle, but it has to also reduce the effort by the driver for steering the vehicle. So this steering arm is the arm for transmitting the turning force from the steering gear to the drag link. So now we have discussed the few important parts. We will see the steering working of a steering wheel. So working of steering system. How does this system work? So steering linkages depend on the type of the vehicle, whether it is a car. So if it is a car, it is independent of the front suspension, or a commercial vehicle which has generally rigid axle type of front suspension. So steering linkages depends on type of vehicle. So for car, it is independent of front suspension. Commercial vehicles, a rigid axle type front suspension. So what is the purpose of this steering system? So the purpose of this steering system is to allow the driver to control the direction of the vehicle by turning the front wheel. So this is achieved by the steering wheel and the steering column. So purpose of steering system is to allow the driver to control the direction of vehicle by turning the front wheels. So by means of or by help of steering wheel and column. So steering column transmit the rotation of the steering wheel to the steering gears. So steering column transmits rotation of steering wheel to steering gears. So when the wheel is rotated, okay, so this is the steering wheel and this is the steering column and this is somehow linked to the wheels. So there are many linkages in between. Okay, so there is a steering gearbox here. So when the steering wheel is rotated by the driver, this rotation of the wheel is transmitted to the steering gears through this column. Okay. Then, so the steering gears will increase the rotational force of the steering wheel in order to transmit greater torque to the steering linkages. So steering gears, what it will do? It will increase the rotational force. Rotational force of the steering wheel in order to transmit greater torque to steering linkages. Then the steering linkages will transmit the steering gear movement to the front wheels of the vehicle. Okay. So nowadays, uh, many new mechanisms are being used for steering system. Presently, rake and pinion type and also recirculating ball type is used. So here steering system with a rake and pinion gearbox is given here. So you can see this steering system consists of a steering shaft. Okay, this is the steering wheel here. Okay, so this is the pinion. Okay, which is present here. Okay, and this is the rake. So pinion and gear. So you can see when the steering wheel is rotated, that rotation is directly given to the rake, which is rotating on the pinion. Okay. So this is the rake and pinion arrangement. So from this, the rotation of the rake on the pinion is sent to the tire. You can see it is mentioned here. So this is the direction for the wheels of the vehicle, and this is the direction for the steering wheel. So rake and pinion type of steering system. So this is most commonly used. So it consists parts. So there is a steering wheel, then there is a rake and pinion arrangement. Okay, whose motion, that is the motion of the rake and pinion, is sent to the wheels of the, that is the road wheels of the vehicle. Okay, so this steering wheel is directly connected to the rake and pinion arrangement. So this is all about the steering system. I hope you have understood the topic. Thank you.